Hello. It's Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. It's SIG Node weekly meeting. Welcome, everybody. I want to start with highlight that cap freeze very soon, end of this week. We have 27 caps with SIG Node label on it. There are few from other like primary SIG, but mostly many of those 27 are actually SIG Node caps that are being worked on. It's a very big number comparing to other releases. So many agenda items today are related to these caps. So let's dive right in. Rodrigo, do you want to update on user namespaces?
Yes. Hello. The PR is there linked. I think it just needs approval because I have addressed several comments already from Manuel. Tim Honking already looked good to, so it looks good to him. And yeah, I was curious if there was some other concern missing that I can help to address, or yeah, I should expect it for this to be approved soon, or.
So this cap stays in alpha, right? So it's just
updated
in alpha. Is there any PR review needed with regard to upgrade? Like how it will be, like whether customers will experience any troubles upgrading?
Not really. I mean, so we're reworking how ID bounds will work underneath. So we'll need other changes in container runtimes. So yeah, this new version won't work unless you have a container runtime that adopted these changes. This is the only drawback that I think is visible.
Okay. Yeah, we need to make sure to document like which versions works with which Kubernetes, with which feature. Thank you. Kevin.
Kevin is not here today, but it's just a request for review and final approval.
I am here. I was trying to find my. I was trying to find my mute button.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like Ed said. I had two agenda items. One of them it looks like has already been taken care of, and the second one is just to get approval on the cap that's listed there. From my perspective, it's mostly ready. There's one small comment I think that needs to be addressed still, but if we could get the approval with maybe a hold on it, I can make sure that last thing gets addressed before giving it an LGTM so that it can be merged. Yeah, and that's it.
So Kevin, I'm glad you are here today. I was just my comment. So thanks for I know it's not time appropriate for you. So
no worries.
I have a couple questions on this one. So that's why I kind of the hold on the approval. So
sure, no problem.
So because the cap itself, it is no risk for sure because the read only try to mostly is for monitoring, right? So you have that get method along with those kind of things, and then you want to so we can know what it is dynamic allocated resource and who is consumed, which one is allocatable, which one is consumed. So all those things make sense to me. The problem it is in the cap didn't tell me all those kind of the workflow there. For example, dynamic allocate the resource that DRA, that driver could be died, could be even rescheduled, not on the node. So that get is the pooling method, is not post. So how we are going to keep that is up to date. So you could connect how often we are going to call that get, and how to avoid those risk conditions, make that it is up to date. And if it's not accurate to show current situation, I understand this is monitoring, but the monitoring sometimes also cause some certain problem, right, for debugging and for support. So confusing. So that's why I kind of this is why I haven't approval, because I read this whole cap. I have a bunch of questions, but I read I think it's like the last week, and because I know people still review, so I didn't immediately add a comment before distracted for other work. So, but this is the reason. But I reviewed today's all the comment. I noticed nobody even asked that question, so that's why I kind of hold approval.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think, and then what you said is actually valid, because in the case of, say, the existing device plugin API, you know, the plugins advertise the devices to the kubelet, and then it keeps all that state internally. So it's very obvious when and how you would, you know, delete these devices from the list that's associated with a container, because the kubelet knows about them and stores that information locally. Whereas with DRA, that's not the case, right? All this device information is only pulled at the time that the container is started, and then it's forgotten by the kubelet. So yeah, it is a valid concern, and it didn't come up, I think, mostly because when I was reading it, I was thinking in terms of, you know, what we do currently and how the flow is somewhat very obvious. And so that would be the same thing going on with maintaining these DRA devices as well. But no, the point you bring up is actually valid. So yeah, if you could drop, so I'm not the one that's writing this, Kep, it's another guy at NVIDIA that I've been helping along with this. So if you leave that comment, me and him can sit down tomorrow and try and address that in the Kep, so that you can get a chance to look at it again tomorrow during your daytime.
Sure, I will definitely, because I didn't realize you joined today. Sorry about that. So
Nah, no problem.
I plan to add that comment, but too many other work distract me. So
yeah, no problem. Yeah,
forgot. Until today,
No.
I realized, oh, I didn't. Yeah, I will. So hopefully we can. So that's the only concern I have, because I read of the API. Of course, the API there might have some detail, but I think about you have more experience than me to say, oh, that cover all those characteristics about the dynamic allocated resources. So I let that go, but the whole flow is unclear to me. So that's why I hold the approval. Just
okay. Yep, makes a lot of sense. Perfect, no problem. Yep, and that's it for my agenda item. Then we can move on to the next one. Thanks, Don.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. Now we all know what kind of phone you're using. You're showing us iPhone there.
All right, yeah, my headphones for my laptop broke, so I had to scramble to get on this.
Right. Vinay, do you want to speak about in-place pod vertical scaling? I remember last time we decided to merge the PR, but it's still open. Maybe you can tell us.
Yeah, it's still open. It's like watching paint dry.
Before we move to this topic, can I interrupt a little bit for user namespaces?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sorry, one thing I forgot, because I just went out to buy dinner and I arrived just in time for the meeting, is that it seems manual already looked good to me, the PR, so it's only missing approval. I think Derek's not here. Don, can you have a look to approve the PR?
I can. Manu, do you want to be the approver for this one, or I can if you don't have time?
Derek is not here.
Okay, got it. So yeah,
Manuel tried to look good to me and approve, but the bot only allowed him to look good to me. So I think only you and Derek can approve now.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Sorry for the interruption.
No worries. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. To continue, there the CAP needed a template update, and I added that. That's a PR number 3845 in enhancements. Don, could you please? I know I think either you or Derek could approve this one. It's a small change, just adding integration test section, which we don't have plans for at this point, but that might change before beta. In fact, most likely we will be having that. And they just needed a section to catch up with the templates. And then I added another line for node scalability. That's about it. Please review that.
No, wait. Okay. So I think all your CAP, I did approval and the review, but for the implementation, because we've been doing many planning, so Derek volunteer to review code, Manu volunteer review. So I don't want to like the other side, because without a clear handoff. And so, because your PR, I personally really,
No, I think Vinay was
Mhm.
also talking about enhancement update. There is
Yeah.
some
oh, then that's sure. For the type, I definitely can, because
Yeah,
I review
Cap-
all the design, all those things. But the implementation, I just kind of feel like all of a sudden, if I approve, because we've been talking about the
No.
submit the API change and also implementation together, right? So,
And-
so that's why you see that I always keep silent, because I don't want to without a clean handoff. So we
No, yeah.
misread certain things. Yeah, I
No.
still want Derek be the last
Yes.
approval for that big change, because since
Yes,
he might be here for a long time. Yeah.
we are on the same page with that. In fact, there are actually two different things. The enhancements, this is for the K enhancements repo. So that one needed a small update, which is to catch up with the latest templates. The release has marked it as risk, so please take a look at that one. As for
I
the
will.
main PR, yes, we are waiting for Derek. I'm not gonna ask you to take that burden. He's already taken a lot of pains to review it,
Exactly. I
and
also
yeah,
worry about because we don't have the clean handoff. Since we already
yeah.
thank you for and also I feel sorry and thank you for such patience. But I really worry about the last minutes we overlook certain things since the key already on that PR. But the
Yes.
type and the design, since from day one I've been involved, so that's why I'm
Yeah.
okay with those things. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so I think that's the only thing that I was hoping that you can do in Direct's absence, the enhancements one, because that's going to freeze soon, and they have marked it as at risk because of that, I believe.
That's no problem. Yeah,
It's
that's,
just a process thing.
yes.
The main PR, what we have is Tim looked at it, the 102884. The plan is to merge that in its entirety, and he has LGTM'd the API changes that's there with a couple of follow-up action items that I have, which is to do the resize policy name restructuring and pod QoS class. These two are small changes, but they affect across the code base. So I don't want to reset the reviews at this point to try to bring them in. What we really need is Derek to look at it, give one more look, because since he last approved the PR, that was on November 15th last year. The only things that have changed are some rebase catch-ups. So I squashed the API commits. I've left the kubelet commits as it is, so that Derek can have a look at it, and if he wants to look at the commit history and nothing has changed, to verify. And then all we need is for him to reapprove, re-LGTM, and then Tim Hawkins is ready to approve it. That's the current status. Is Mrinal here? I thought I saw Mrinal, but I don't see him anymore.
He said he will be late, or maybe
Okay. If I know Derek is not here, I'm wondering if anyone can ping him. Someone is.
Derek is also. Says that,
Derek is traveling, so we can ping Derek for sure. So but he's traveling for business trip, so that's
yeah. He might not be able to look at it then. Okay, well, we're running out of time, and I'm starting to get nervous about this. I don't want to push it out one more release, but I really don't want to merge this towards close to code freeze. It's risky.
And we also want to start working on sidecars and logic. There's intermingled. So
Yeah.
ideally, we need to merge it sooner.
Yeah. Thank you. That's it from me.
Okay, next item is Atanas.
Yeah, thank you. Just a short note to reviewers. We did a small kind of break of our PR when we were squashing our kind of commits. I just reopened a new PR and pointed to the old one as a reference. So just to let all the reviewers know. The new PR is all squashed in terms of commits. It's the same state and yeah, basically with squashed commits and working. In terms of reviewer comments, we got some very good comments. There were some concerns regarding scheduling. If we are covering basically resource allocations on the scheduling side. This is currently not an objective for the CAP. We extended the non-goals just to make that clear, that we will not cover the scheduling side. We are basically on node solution after scheduling. We will be looking in beta phase for the fragmentation approaches, how to avoid fragmenting basically the resources on the node. This was something which we included as additional remark according to the reviews as part of beta goal. Then we got some comments from Kevin regarding we were planning to introduce an association mechanism between pods and so-called CCI drivers. The mechanism is achievable either through basically an optional pod spec argument or there is the concept of resource classes in DRA, where there is association with DRA drivers. Just to answer to Kevin's comment there, yes, resource classes can be an option for us. Also, if we can associate CCI drivers basically with pods. One kind of concern what we have is that resource classes require claims. They are bound to DRA. So the question there is if we can somehow use the resource classes without this requirement. Maybe it's something where we have to sync with Kevin to see if this can be an option to avoid any pod spec kind of options, introducing new options in pod spec. Otherwise, the idea is good. What Kevin is suggesting, but yeah, it's the question is if there is a requirement that this has to be used with claims or dynamic resource allocation claims. The other concern was policy. We were suggesting in the CAP to introduce a new policy which will manage bridging CCI drivers and CPU manager. The reason for that, it's new functionality. It's really bridging CPU manager and drivers. Also we got the request from Kevin if this can support more or less current policy and static policy. We still want to keep it separate policy because of the bridging concept, and we don't want to add, or basically we know that a lot of users are already there using non-policy and static policy. We don't want to break it in alpha. Definitely integration is a valid point if we can make it easier, but we definitely don't want to break it in alpha. I hope this helps. Then, yeah, I think from that perspective, we try to answer. There was a question in our community meetings about some of the flows with the plugins. I added an illustration which should a little bit, hopefully bring some light what happens when the driver dies, basically, and you try to start a pod which relies on the driver. I tried to describe that those scenarios a little bit in the CAP. Let me know if this is sufficient. We can improve if the information, if that was not clear. There was also a good comment that a misunderstanding that, or we were not clearly saying what happens if the driver dies. So our kind of behavior will be if the driver dies and you want to start a pod which relies on it, the pod will fail. So we are not searching at this point for any kind of backup options to use some sort of standard CPU manager mechanism as a backup. So we clearly want to fail on driver failures, this kind of CCI pods. Right, yeah, I think that's on my side, short update or long update. Thank you.
So I remember we've been discussing who will be approver and reviewer on this cap. I see a bunch of reviewers specified in cap YAML, right? So
yeah, in the cap YAML, for now, I wrote all the reviewers which were in the PR. I don't know, maybe it was wrong. Is it just one which I have to assign to put there?
typically, you find people who saying that they will be reviewing and LGTM, and then approvers who will be approving this.
Okay. Yeah, I included for now all the reviewers who are basically on the PR. But yeah, happy to adjust to one. Yeah.
No,
I
multiple
had
reviewers.
volunteered. Sorry, Sergey. I had volunteered to take a look at this cap, so I intend to do that. I'm just a bit behind. So I will hopefully take a look at it today or tomorrow.
So Swati, I will adjust the cap YAML to basically put, I assume, Sergey, you're talking about this cap YAML file, which I have to change.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand who here is real reviewers. Like I see Dawn and Derek already mentioned there, and they also mentioned as approvers.
I can't get a hold of Derek.
So so thanks Sveti volunteer to be the one of the main reviewer. I hope that Sveti and Kevin, anyway, both they are already involved a lot of those resource allocation in the many other discussions. So I hope they are the main reviewer. Then Derek and I can be the fellow approver. Is that okay? And so Sveti, if you are finished, and I hope Kevin's still here. so can review. No matter what, I believe Kevin will review this one anyway, and won't let it go. So that's why. So can we have you two and as the main reviewer? And I especially if there's some like the CRI special change, then I hope like the Sergey and Manu can review. But so far I didn't see anything there, most too special, and so that's why I think about the YouTube would be okay, and Derek and I still will be the fellow approver. Is that okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Kernel model management. I'm sorry, I'm not aware of this name. Whoever added kernel model management topic, please speak up.
Yeah, that's me. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly fine.
Yeah, hello everyone. So kernel module management is a project that we created inside SIG Node, I think in the summer, really. It's going pretty well. I think it's in a working state right now. And so that's my usual, call for a sponsor, for a regular contributor in the project. That's Mihail Razvanis. So I'm looking for basically someone to, sponsor his application into the Kubernetes and Kubernetes SIG organizations so that we don't have to /OK to test on all PRs. So would someone agree to be his sponsor?
I think first is this project management, kernel module management. It is the project we founded. We sponsor, SIG Node the sponsor last year, if I remember correctly, it's last year. So Sergey, now you are the SIG chair. I think you and Manu can sponsor all those kind of things if you feel appropriate.
I'm just looking at contributions. Thank you for pasting a link. I can do that.
Yeah, you can review this status and decide it sponsor or not sponsor. Yeah. Thanks for bringing.
Thank you.
Yeah, more contributor to the community. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really happy with Mikhail's contributions. So Sergey, I'll ask him to mention you in the application for membership. Then the second bullet I had, and I'm trying to be quick here, was about like an update of the admins and maintainers of kernel module management. So what happened is that kernel module management was initially created as SRO, the special resource operator. That repository and those teams in Kubernetes org were created, but we actually never committed the code. We shifted the direction. We decided to build kernel module management instead. And so the admins and the maintainers do not reflect the current contributors or project leaders. So that PR is there to indeed update those maintainers. But I don't think we've heard from Zvonko. We would like him to approve the PR, but like he's been mentioned that and doesn't reply on the PR. So I was wondering if we could just get it merged, because I'm not sure what would be the way forward here.
I can approve immediately. Yeah, I think we discussed this before, right? So at one of the SIG Node, we decided to redirect this to the kernel module. I think I saw the Derek's comment. I do think about that it's been discussed a while back, so that's why let me.
Yeah, so Zvonko was involved in creating SRO. What was the the initial proposal, but he never contributed to kernel module management, and so yeah, we need to. Oh, I see you approved, Dawn. So thank you very much. Thank you. That's it from me.
Thanks.
And maybe I should deliver a deeper update about like what's the status about kernel module management, because it's working fairly well. I'll try to do that at a future date.
Yes. Can we put that in our agenda? Because we do have a lot of customer I heard. Also, like open source usage, and even like some Google vendor, and keep asking somehow we plan to do this kernel module management, and because different distro have the different customer requirement, right? So the kernel, a lot Kubernetes itself didn't really have the specific. We have the really simple layer system validator. That's the really long time ago. We have that one. So we have the basic kernel module, basic kernel requirement, but now to really reflect up to date, now to reflect what today's customer need. Back then, we basically have the really simple workload. Now we have the more complicated workload. The different workload have the different kernel module requirement, different kernel version requirement. So if we could have the demo from you and your team, and that'll be wonderful. So then that will be make a lot of work is much easier. Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. It's in active development, but I think we're still happy with the current state. And, as you said, like, K-mods are quite ubiquitous these days. We have CSI vendors that are using KMM, and of course, hardware vendors that need to enable the hardware with out-of-tree kernel modules. Yeah. So that's, I'll schedule a demo. Thank you all.
Yeah, just mentioned on the PR as well. One concern I have with this PR is that it changes all the maintainers to be from the same company. It's not ideal to have this situation. So if you can, like, I don't think it's a blocking PR, but if you can actively seek for somebody who is ready to maintain and not from Red Hat, it would be great.
So we are indeed working with other people from other companies, but I don't think anyone right now is willing to actively contribute code. I'll do my best to find anyone else, or if anyone in SIG Node wants to also be maintainer, that I would be really happy to think about it.
Maybe your presentation will spark some interest. Thank you.
Hopefully, thank you.
Okay, Michal.
Okay, cool. So from me, quick ask for approval for the PR with the CAP update. For the second iteration of beta, yeah, this is owned by SIG Node, and in this cap, we need to, or we want to resolve the problem of pending terminating ports that are owned by kubelet, but they get stuck in this state and they never fail. And yeah, this is currently problematic for controllers like job controller, which uses finalizers. And this cap has already been, like a couple of reviewers left their remarks and been reviewed by David, who left LGTM from SIG Node. But yeah, I would like to get like final approval or like feedback if something more is needed there. So,
my understanding, your PR, because we know it's to solve real problems, so it's been upfront approval. You really need it. It looks good to me. So the real reviewer look at the content, all this kind of detail, and then agree on that is good thing. I saw that David actually spent a lot of time to review this one. So maybe you just need looks good to me from David, and then we can move forward. I just want to see your PI is already approval because to unblock the progress.
yeah, sure. But well, from SIG apps, what I got like from Maciej is that he would be like more comfortable if SIG Node approves, and same opinion from Aldo. So it would be nice, like from SIG Node approver, and that we get yeah, green light.
So who is your active reviewer? My understanding from SIG Node is David right now.
Yeah, I think David reviewed like
Yeah, I was the main reviewer, and we went through several iterations. Thank you for all the updates. I think it's great now, but maybe we need the SIG Node like approver to sign off on it. I'm not sure who was your approver for the alpha. Was it Don or Derek?
It's me, I believe.
Oh, you reviewed it, Don?
Okay. Yeah. So David, if you review and let me know if you think about it's okay and it looks good to me and ping me, so then I take a last look and approve it.
Okay, sure, I can do that.
From the SIG Node, yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that concludes our agenda today. Is there any other topics for today? Anybody wants to speak up? Okay, then we get 20 minutes back. Thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.